I've decided to go ahead and grind a little bit at least, because now it's really easy to access, and just because I can't help it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm not going to make it look pretty. I'm just going to make it to where it doesn't have ugly little sharp pointy bits sticking out of it. Got this stuff clamped temporarily into place, not correct for this side or for the bottom, but correct for this, so that it's making my little corner and doing this more or less all the way down until the bottom. And so I'm going to try to tack it in places where it's at the right place, hopefully. And then I'll worry about getting that back end lined up before I start with it. Okay, here we go. I finally got this thing aligned almost perfectly. I'm trying to make sure this first one is really square and correct as much as possible, because I know that errors here are going to amplify down the line. So okay, that's getting better. As I went down, I was able to get better, so that by the time I was down around here, for example, that looks okay. Okay, here's something I have to think about with steel that's this thick, is I let this one kind of come off at an angle, because I wanted it to kind of rest on that thing, and I didn't think it mattered. But now I'm having trouble pushing it far enough back to get it in line. And so having it come off at that angle there is something I have to avoid in the future and be a little more careful about. Okay, I'm going to start here along this edge because it's aligned well, and then I'll take it from there. I managed to get this really long clamp in place, just sort of barely perched onto the bottom, so that I could push out the main panel a little bit. And I think it's set up pretty well, so I'm going to try to tack this now, see if it'll hold. Need to be able to see what I'm doing. And the problem with me being here is it's hitting my little bits of hot metal are hitting my arm and my neck. Ouch. Still. Wow. Yeah, I am not seeing what I'm doing very well. Ouch. God darn it. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is really not working. That's not perfect. I want to Does not want to, well, does not want to arc properly. Okay, so here's how I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a couple of little more sections just to really make sure it's actually welded and not just going to pop apart. But I'm not going to try to do the whole thing because clearly I'm having a very difficult time. And it's way out of my pay grade to be trying to do something this difficult. And my pay grade is 0, so infinitely out of my pay grade. I'm done with this one for now because it's too difficult. I thought I'd go ahead and get video. Maybe I should do a time lapse of me getting this thing into place. I think I will make it a time lapse because instead of it taking me 5 minutes, it's probably gonna, or 1 minute, it's gonna take more like 10, so I better condense it now. Okay, this is not the way I envisioned doing it, but I'm going to try to tack it here really heavily for about 1 inch so that it's very solid. And then this front corner down here is almost correct. When looking at it from here, it looks great. It just needs to come out like a 1/16 of an inch. But I want to leave it in place so that the metal doesn't fall down. So after I've tacked that, then I'll push this out just that tiny bit and clamp down on it again and just get, so I'm going to actually do this underside first, which is what I was not planning on doing. Yep. Been there, done that. Won't be the last time I do this, I'm sure. Okay. Huh. Oh, okay. The helmet just didn't auto darken for me. What is up with that? I think I know what's happening is that I think I smell what's happening. I'm trying to look through the bottom of my bifocals, so I'm moving the helmet way up out of position. That's what just happened. So can I do this without my glasses on, maybe? Maybe? So now, okay. Okay, so now I just need to put those clamps in to kind of there we go. It's just enough to bring it to. So see what I'm feeling under here is that this gap, it's just like a half lap. It's not completely the whole corner, but it'll have to do, I'm afraid. Is there anything I could do? Like if I had a piece of wood that was the right length, I could just kind of like bam, 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 cram it in there, and it would put a little pressure outward on this plate. But yeah, who cares, I guess. It's not, the question is how much is that going to affect up here, and probably not enough to worry about. I think that should be enough for now. There are little gaps right here at the corners, and I can fix those later. So now the next thing is to actually put the top plate on and see how well it fits or doesn't fit. The thought just occurred to me that I really should run some fillet wells all along the inside here, because that'll do a lot to strengthen the whole thing, and that way when I flip it over and put weight on it, it won't crack and come apart. And I can do this easily now. Before I put the top on, I'll have all this access to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, because now's the chance. And I'm going to keep this at that lower setting, because it seems to work just fine. It seems to penetrate pretty well, because it makes me go more slowly and give the heat time to get into it. So I'm going to try it like that. Okay. The thought was just occurring to me that I could do the same thing along these inside vertical angles, but the outside is pretty well done. I think it's ugly, but I think it's working fine. So I think, yeah, what time is it? May call it a day.